Other than a minivan, there is nothing else that screams family than a 3-row SUV, which is why I even bought one. This here is my very own 2014 Toyota Highlander Hybrid Limited. And this one beside me, even though it looks exactly the same as this, is not. This is the 2016 Toyota Highlander XLE all-wheel drive. This one's a hybrid, this is a straight gas one. Today we're gonna check this one out. One of the reasons why I purchased a 3rd generation Highlander is because of its looks. I think it's one of the better looking Toyotas out there for sure. It has a more masculine truck-like look. The whole vehicle looks higher. This one is mounted on 19-inch alloy wheels, and it does look a little more rugged, especially for a family vehicle. The rear features some really stylish clear lens style tail lights, and I especially like the little lip spoiler or visor on top of the rear window. Speaking of rear window, this does come standard with a power tailgate and a flip-up rear glass as well. The interior of this new Highlander really stands out. It is the same interior that I have in the Hybrid Limited as well. First of all, I think it's a very modern looking interior, and it's probably the best looking one that I've found for a Toyota. You have a very easy to use infotainment system. This one is also equipped with what's called driver easy speak. When you activate it, it amplifies your voice to the rear as well, so you could yell at those kids in the back without really raising your voice too much. I really haven't had a lot of use with that feature, but it is there. Below that, a nice intuitive Hvac system. Dials are easy to turn, and it's just really easy to use. You also have this shelf, which I'm a big fan of. You can put your sunglasses there, you can put parking receipts. It does collect some clutter, but I do like the added space. And that's what I like about the interior in general, especially the front cabin. There's a lot of space up here from the shelf. All the door panels have a lot of storage for water bottles. And then of course, this huge middle console. You slide both of those down, you can fit a huge laptop bag. A knapsack fits in here. You can put a lot of things here. It's deep, and I don't think there's many other vehicles out there with a compartment this size. The XLE does come with a power adjustable driver's seat, but it does not have any memory position, and the passenger seat is manual. If you want both seats to have power and the memory adjustment, you do have to go up to the Limited. The back has a lot of room and features a nice flat floor. Standard also are built-in sun visors. The XLE comes as an 8-passenger vehicle, so the second row is a bench seat, whereas the Limited is only a 7-passenger because you only have 2 seats in the second row. Sometimes I wish my Limited actually had the bench seat, just so I wouldn't have to give up one extra spot. Here's one thing I really like about the rear of this Highlander. First of all, if you're installing a baby seat, we have 2 installed here. This is going to be a front-facing. The latch mechanism is really easy to access. That's it, 2 clicks. And the seats go forward and back for ease of getting in and out. And also, it's really handy for hooking up that back tether strap. Hook that up, and you're done. The third row doesn't offer a lot of room and best reserved just for people with small legs or children, but for a full-size adult, it is there in case you need it in a pinch. In the back with the third row folded down, you have a ton of room, and as you can see here, for a day at the beach, we can fit everything from the full-size wagon, barbecue, blankets, umbrellas, and even an extra table. We are now doing what the Highlander does best, and that is haul people around, in this case, hauling the family around from a bunch of birthday parties. As I've mentioned before, if you watch the Mazda CX-9 review, one thing I really like about the Highlander is the ride height, and so did my wife. You do ride a little bit higher, and there is a lot of room in that back. So powering this XLE V6 is a 3.5-liter V6 engine, and that puts out 270 horsepower, and that's different than the hybrid that I own. Believe it or not, the hybrid actually has more power and more torque than the standard V6. And in Canada, unfortunately, we only have the two options, which is the V6 and the hybrid, which is also a V6 or a hybrid, but we do not get the 4-cylinder, which you can get in the United States. Right off the bat, the thing that I noticed different between my Highlander hybrid and this, two things. First of all, the beauty of a 6-speed conventional automatic transmission. You really feel a lot more connected, it seems, than that CVT, the continuously variable transmission that comes standard with the hybrid. As well, one of the biggest differences that I noticed is the steering. I've always said on the hybrid steering, it's a little bit artificial past about, let's say 10 and 2 o'clock when you're turning it, and it's just kind of gets really tight and stiff. And this one is a lot more linear. It feels natural. So what do you get with the XLE V6 all-wheel drive model like we have here? First of all, you get all-wheel drive, you get that V6 engine, but you also get a lot of standard features. This one comes with leather, comes with a sunroof, heated seats, all those things. But the things that it doesn't come with, first of all, is instead of this sunroof, you can get a large panoramic roof, let's say on the limited model. You also get cooled seats on the limited model, a different stereo, but driving wise they do drive exactly the same, except on the limited you get additional advanced safety features like radar cruise control, lane departure alert, blind spot warning, and rear cross traffic alert. And those you don't get on this model, and they're not available on the XLE, unfortunately. So this is kind of like if you compare this with the brand new Mazda CX-9. For price to price, they're almost identical with the XLE version of this and their GSL model. You both get leather, you get all-wheel drive. The Mazda, you do get a couple more safety features like the cross traffic alert and the blind spot monitoring. But with that one as well, you have to get into the GT to get those advanced safety features. And I just wish for all the manufacturers that maybe I want to get this XLE. Here's the reason why. On the limited model, the limited comes, it's very, very well equipped, but it's also only a 7-passenger vehicle because you have the 2 captain's chairs in the second row. That is fine and dandy, but you do lose 1 seat. So maybe I'd like to have the XLE V6 like we have here, because this is an 8-passenger vehicle. You have a bench seat on the second row, but I want to have all those other features, those advanced safety features. I should be able to get those as an option. Sometimes when you're dealing with a couple or 3 screaming kids in the back and your mind is kind of full of everything, it's nice to have those aids just as a backup in case you just aren't paying attention. And there are times where we want to add another person, let's say, and have 5 people in the vehicle. On our hybrid limited, we can't do that unless we put someone in the third row. And sometimes it's just nice to just, for short trips, throw them into the second row if you have that bench seat. That way you don't have to put those seats up in the back. The XLE V6 is probably the volume leader. This is probably the one that most people buy. It's very competitively priced. It's well equipped. You have a good looking vehicle. It's very capable, a lot of storage room. You even have things like the window shades that come standard. As for the rest of the drive of how the Highlander drives in general, this V6 model opposed to the hybrid drives a little bit lighter than that hybrid, probably because of those batteries in the hybrid version. And it's not the most exciting drive, but it's a perfectly easy car or vehicle, if you want to call it, to drive, especially for hauling the family around. As for fuel economy, on the hybrid, we average about 10 liters per 100K in mixed driving. This one, after about 350 kilometers, we have averaged 14.5. So yes, you are paying about a third more for fuel and fuel consumption, but it is a lot cheaper though. Sometimes I find it easy to criticize this Highlander behind me here, which is my own vehicle. And the reason for that is I think of it as a premium vehicle, but it really isn't. It has a lot of premium features at a non-premium price. So the Highlander starts at just about $35,000 and goes all the way to about $50,000 for the hybrid limited. This XLE V6 all-wheel drive goes for just under $42,000, and for that you do get a lot for your money. First of all, you get a nice styled vehicle, in my opinion. It's bold looking, it kind of has a rugged type of look, an equally good looking interior, and the best of all, it's very functional. It comes as an 8-passenger vehicle, so perfect for hauling people around. And you have that dependable powertrain, the 270 horsepower matched to the 6-speed automatic and the all-wheel drive. So if you're looking to haul some people around or your family and you don't want to go down the minivan route, this is the way to go.